Hey, today I'm going to talk about taking inspirational action because I'm inspired right now. So stay tuned for The Front.
Thanks for tuning in to Lead the Teams, The Front.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of The Front. My name is Mike Phillips, and I will be your host. As always, you could check out my website at leadtheteam.net for free sales training, for motivational content, and for leadership tips. Also, you could cruise on over to leadtheteam.tv and please subscribe to the YouTube channel there. Remember, I'm doing this every Wednesday and Sunday, new episodes of The Front, and it's video content, and I also do it as a podcast. So if you're looking for the podcast, please check it out on Google Play, on iHeartRadio, and on iTunes. And lastly, whether you're watching or listening to an episode of The Front, please participate in the comments down below. Share your thoughts, share your opinions, feel free to ask questions, as often that leads to a really excellent future show. So today on The Front, I'm speaking about taking inspirational action. And it's because I'm inspired. I'm excited. I spent the last couple of days here at the Rockstar Automotive Conference in Vegas. It's put on by Matt Koenig and his partner, Chris Spear. And just a really good conference, really good content, lots of great connections. And so I would encourage you, especially if you're in automotive, but even outside of automotive, if you're in sales or in business, I think it's one that could be applicable to a lot of other facets of business, not just automotive sales, but that's where it's rooted at. And I'm going to do a full video blog coming for this Sunday's version or episode of The Front. I'm going to do a video blog on it and kind of wrap some content together so you'll get an idea of what you're looking for. So anytime anybody goes to a conference, I know most business people, you go out to a conference or a seminar or a training session and you get all fired up and pumped up and you're like, man, I'm going to go back and I'm going to light the world on fire. I'm going to launch my business into the stratosphere, right? And that's great. But the question is, anytime, whether you spent 2 days being immersed in a conference like I just did, whether you spent an hour going to a training session or you did a full-on immersion like a week of business or motivational training, the big question, and you might think about writing this down, here's the big question is, what are you actually going to act on when you get back into your business? What are you actually going to act on when you get back into your business? Because once you go back to the real world and your everyday life, right? All of the regular stuff, keep in mind, your other 10 employees or 50 employees or 100 or 1,000, however many employees, all the other people that are involved in the business with you, they didn't get affected or infected by the conference. Right? They stayed at home and they kept the everyday business going. They kept the routine and making sure that things were being acted on properly while you were out getting trained or getting fired up or attending what it is that you were out doing. So when you come back, here's my recommendation. And I'll give you that question again. What are you going to actually act on when you return to your daily business life? Because so often you go and you get all these ideas. I got two books worth, 2 packets worth of awesome notes from amazing speakers from all kinds of different areas of business in the automotive industry. And this is just the recent one. I've attended many other conferences and any conference I've attended, they're always really excellent content. And so I've got two pamphlets worth of pages. One of the things, like for myself, and this may help you that are out there watching, one of the things for myself that I do is I spend the time to come back and I figure out, okay, what are the 3 things that are the 3 key elements that my biggest takeaways from this conference? What can I go and actually, what are these 3 points that I can write down separately outside of my notes and really start to make actionable items to make a difference? So that's one. When I'm saying taking inspirational action, because when you first get back from anything, if it's an hour-long training session or a workshop, you come out and you're like, yeah, let's go, right? I got the torches. Oh, get out there and let's light this up, man. And then so often you get back and everybody's giving you that pushback because they're like, well, wait a minute, that's not going to work, or this isn't going to work, or well, we can't just suddenly do that. So you need to, as a leader, as a manager, as an individual that's involved, even if you're like that 360-degree leader, like John Maxwell says, if you're someone that's at the middle of an organization and you're coming back all fired up, you need to pick 3 items, 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 items that you say, hey, these are the pinpoints that I think could have a significant effect and impact on my business, and this is what I'm going to go after. This is what I'm going to do. And then once you have those items in your own words, besides all of your notes or going back to review, everybody records video now and Facebook Live and everything else. Go back and review some of that stuff, but then in your own words, come up with 5 or 10 actual tactics that you can execute on those 3 action items. Here's the other one. Besides just saying, oh, hey, I'm going to go take this inspirational action, get my business all fired up, what connections are you going to maintain? Because for me, I made a whole bunch, this is a different type of conference for me, and I made a whole bunch of new connections that are unlike other conferences I've attended. It was a different group of people, a different attendance set, so to speak. And so, and awesome people, people are amazing. And so my question is then, what are you going to do to continue to groom and grow the important relationships? What are the important relationships to you? And keep in mind, if you find somebody else an important connection or an important relationship to nurture and grow, it doesn't mean that they necessarily find you as an important relationship to nurture and grow. So you may have to be the one reaching out to them. And over time, and the thing is, what do you have to offer them in return? Like what benefit is there to that ongoing connection? But really, so often you'll go to a workshop, a training, a seminar, a full-on immersion deal, and you go, oh yeah, man, and we bonded, and it was awesome, and everybody there was fantastic, and everybody loves each other, and you're singing Kumbaya on the plane, and then you get back and daily life, right? Regular business sets in, and 6 months later, all you're doing is every once in a while you go, oh yeah, hey, that person had a cool status. Instead of actually really grooming an ongoing relationship for somebody that may be valuable or you may be valuable to them. So when I'm talking about taking inspirational action, it's not just on, hey, here's the items I took notes on that could totally transform our business. That's one. But 2, what are the people and the connections that you can continue to maintain that could totally transform your life? And like I said, it reciprocates. It's both ways. It may be somebody you go, man, this person was awesome. I got to stay in touch with them. I've got, and have some value to offer them. You can't just be an energy vampire that's constantly like, oh, hey, give me all the knowledge and the info. Have something to offer them also. It has to be a reciprocal relationship. Vice versa. If somebody reaches out to maintain that connection with you, and I'm not talking about a selling connection. Because anytime you go to these, certainly there are people that are wanting to nurture a relationship so that they can sell you on something later. And that's good also because you see all these different products presented in one single forum and you can kind of shop and compare and look at what else is new and cool out there and what's going on. That's great. I'm talking about just the ongoing relationships. It's somebody that you don't necessarily have to do business with, but you feel you could add value to them or they could add value to you. So those would be my 2 for me. And I was just thinking about it as I came home from the conference in the middle of the night last night. And I thought, man, I said, there's 2 things that I really need to go after. And I decided that if it's valuable for me, I thought I would share it with everybody out there that, okay, so 1, what are the 3 actionable things you can do after any sort of learning session, let's call it, workshop, seminar, immersion, church retreats, all of those things. What are 3 actionable items you can maintain that, or not maintain, that you can act on to grow and continue to cultivate and generate and create change for either your business or yourself. And then 2 is, what are those connections that you're also going to nurture and maintain and grow? So that's my whole message for tonight. I'd encourage you, please, if you're watching this episode and if you attend a church group on Wednesday nights for an hour, what are the 2 or 3 things that you can act on that you learned in that church group? What are the 1 or 2 or 3 valuable connections that you can either offer to somebody or you feel they could offer you, and reach out. And here's the interesting thing. Part of the reason that I was thinking about this, it's crazy. On my way home, I'm driving home, and I know I'm a little bit off on a tangent here, but it was just wild to me because everybody is so into, social media and the social media connection and how many likes and how many connections they can have and all this. And I'm listening to a radio commercial in Denver on the radio station, and they say, hey, does anybody out there, and it was talking about singles. But what hit me, and I'm not a single by any means, but what hit me is they said, are you having a tough time on dating sites? Well, we're doing this, and it's like an action camp for singles. And like they said, there's, 25 different activities that you can meet face to face with people. And I was like, holy cow, what a novel idea. Meet face to face with somebody. Have an actual 2-way conversation. Make a real life connection. Go to coffee, have lunch, invite somebody to breakfast, right? Go for a car ride, do something, make an actual connection with somebody. And so that's what stemmed my second part is like, yeah, it's one thing to stay in touch with people on social media, but to really continue, pick up the phone, for goodness sake. I had a guy who we do business with. I do business with. He's a vendor. I know vendor is that word we're trying to change in the industry, but he just called me out of the blue to have a conversation. Didn't have any new information. Didn't have anything new to sell me. Was just calling to check in on me as a human. And it's like that's class. That actual human connection is what's awesome. So do those 2 things. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in to this episode. I'm going to wrap it right now, so at the risk of rambling on, thank you for tuning in to this episode of The Front. I sure appreciate it. Remember, I do it every single Wednesday and Sunday. Like I said at the beginning, please check out the YouTube channel and the podcast and all the other stuff that there is to offer. I feel that there is some value there. If anybody would like to guest blog or participate as a guest on a podcast, feel free. Reach out to me anytime. My email is mike@leadtheteam.net. Love to chat with you and see what we could do to collaborate. And until we speak next, I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day.